Hello horror hounds, welcome to my horror house. I watched Meg 2 The Trench last night and I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it surpasses the first film in pretty much every respect, which may well be damning with faint praise, but I've seen some fairly middling and negative reviews of Meg 2 since last night, which I'm slightly bemused by. I'm not quite sure what people were expecting. There was obviously the intriguing question mark hanging over it of being directed by Ben Wheatley, which is a strange proposition. The director who brought us Kill List, Sightseers in the Earth, strange, weird, indie type and very, very British affairs. And what would he do with a sort of 4-quadrant monster movie, $140 million budget? Well, what he appears to have done is provided another Meg movie, which is exactly what everyone surely should be expecting when the Meg did what it was supposed to do. This continued sort of US-China co-production will surely produce another attempt at a sort of 4-quadrant B movie, giant shark movie, and that's pretty much exactly what they've done, except I think that the script is more interesting, the action is better, I was more involved. I just think it was more exciting and engaging and fun, just outright fun, than it really needed to be. It could have just churned out more of the same and we would have got a Meg 2. But I honestly think they pushed to try and make a good, fun Meg movie. And I liked it a hell of a lot more than the first movie. The first movie is a little bit thin. We rewatched it a couple of nights ago in prep for Meg 2. And it gets by on a lot of Statham versus a Megalodon. It gets by on a lot of charm. I think he has some excellent chemistry with a couple of the actors in it. And there's some good humour in there. But the Meg, for me, does fall flat, especially in the final act where there's that huge sort of beach scene and the Meg is going towards it and then gets called away and to have the final act back out at sea. And I really feel it missed out on the mayhem. And Meg 2, for my money, delivers on the promise that wasn't kept in the first movie, in the final act. There's a lot of other stuff that happens before that final act, and I've seen some reviewers, some big YouTube reviewers who get hundreds of thousands of views within the first few hours, complaining that you have to wade through a lot of boring non-shark stuff before you get to the shark stuff. But I think that what the Meg, the first film, has proved is that if you are only relying on some people versus a giant shark for pretty much the entirety of your movie, that movie will end up being pretty fucking thin, because either the people don't get killed by the shark or they do get killed by the shark and then eventually the shark gets killed by the people. There's not that much more you can do with it. I think that kind of premise was explored as best it could be in something like Deep Blue Sea, where you had to have an extra dimension, which was that they were all in an underwater facility that was flooding. Set it out to sea, and really it should be a 5-10 minute movie. A Megalodon would chomp everyone to pieces. So in Meg 2, we are, for the first couple of acts at least, more concerned with the goings on down in the trench that they discovered, and there's action and intrigue and nefarious stuff. There are a lot of human villains in this to deal with. I won't give away any of the plot, because one of the things that I think I really benefited from was the review embargo, because I went to see Jason Statham fighting Megalodons. That got my money. That's absolutely fine. So the other stuff was all gravy for me, and I was sat there grinning, and I was saying to my wife, I can't actually believe how much I'm enjoying this. I thought it would be an okay, fun way to pass the time. We do have to wait a while until we get to the shark mayhem. And again, there is another sort of beach paradise where the sharks are on their way to. But Ben Wheatley is clearly having so much glee and fun. There is a gleeful nature to the destruction and the shark action in this movie. I think everyone's just having a blast. And Meg 2 delivered on what I wanted to see at the end of Meg 1. It's not bloodier, because in the UK it's a 12A, so I guess in America that's a PG-13 movie. So it's still aimed at the same crowd that the first Meg movie was. But there are certainly more deaths. There are slightly more elaborate deaths. When you put a megalodon, let alone 3 megalodons, in water full of people in rubber rings and pedalos and swimming around and boogie boards and stuff like that, I know what I want to see, and I pretty much saw it in Meg 2. It's funny as hell. It references so many other movies. This is not trying to reinvent the wheel. It made me think an awful lot about Kong Skull Island and the Hollow Earth sections of Godzilla vs. Kong. Quite a lot about the Jurassic World movies and Jurassic Park. They do something pretty smart, which is to have creatures that not just sharks, not just Megs. Other creatures are in the mix, so the threat can come from different places. There's a line of dialogue that references Jaws 2, which is the funniest line in the whole movie. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I do want to show off my new Jaws t-shirt. How do you like them apples? The ending of the movie references Jaws 2. There's a shot in there that references Jaws 3D, the greatest shot in Jaws 3D. There's a little bit in the trench that made me think weirdly of Avatar. There's clearly Journey to the Centre of the Earth stuff, which, you know, is a progenitor of your Skull Island and Hollow Earth sections of Godzilla vs. Kong. I just thought it was a bit of a rip-roarer. If you're down for Statham, and you're down for Statham in a sort of action-y mode. I don't know why his character from the first movie is suddenly now doing martial arts and stuff like that. He's kind of now just Jason Statham in this movie. But that's fine. I was down for that. That's what I bought my ticket to see. There's some underwatery, abyssy kind of stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it succeeded in pretty much every aspect where the first movie failed. I thought, yeah, okay, sometimes the green screen is egregious. Sometimes the CG doesn't look great. Other times it looks really good. Really good in a B-movie, popcorny monster movie fun kind of way. I don't think there's any other way to take a movie like Meg 2, The Trench. So I don't really see any reason for getting het up about it. If you didn't like it, fine. But I guess some of these guys have to go on YouTube and rant and shout and be all snarky and clever to get their clicks, because that's what their IP is. But I've seen newspaper reviews dumping on the movie, and I don't know, maybe some of these film critics in the papers have to pretend that they're doing something worthwhile with their lives rather than just flapping their gums about films. Not every movie is going to be art. Sometimes Jason Statham will kick a megalodon in the face. I'm okay with that.
I bid you welcome.
I welcome you to my house.
Welcome to my house.
Welcome to my home.